Welcome back to Sailing Simra. This week we're still exploring the amazing Broughton archipelago. After 2 straight days of rain, the sun finally came out and we couldn't wait to get back out on the water. The Broughtons are known as the rain coast, so when the sky's finally clear, you make the most of it. This week we explored Fife Sound right in the middle of the Broughtons, then headed to Tribune Channel to check out beautiful Lacey Falls. After a pretty quiet start for wildlife, things got a lot more exciting with some amazing animal sightings and a few new friends. Let's get going before it starts raining again. Hey, I'm Tanner Sparling and I'm 11 years old. During the school year, I live in Evergreen, Colorado. My family owns a wooden boat named Simra, which is currently moored on Vancouver Island, British Columbia. That's in Canada! Every year, my family sets sail during the summer to explore wild places in the Pacific Northwest. This channel will document the stories of our adventures, from the beautiful scenery to caring for our boat and more. Join us on Sailing Simra. It's our 3rd week aboard Simra on our 6-week summer adventure, and we're starting to wrap up our time exploring the Broughtons. But first, we're heading into some of the more remote places where wildlife like grizzly bears can sometimes be found. These islands sit off the northeast coast of Vancouver Island, and people have lived here for thousands of years. In fact, archaeologists have found evidence that humans were here as long as 8,000 years ago. I also learned that around 15,000 people lived throughout these islands in the early 1800s. It's hard to imagine that many people living in a place that now feels so quiet. The First Nations who lived here built seasonal villages all through the islands. You can still find shell beaches called middens and ancient clam gardens that were built here to help grow food. When European settlers arrived, they brought new industries like logging and trapping, but they also brought diseases that had devastating effects on the First Nations communities. At our anchorage in the Burdwood Islands, it was easy to spot some of the middens along the shoreline. It wasn't hard to imagine someone paddling a dugout canoe through these same waterways hundreds of years ago. We also hiked to see a huge cedar tree that had been carefully modified by First Nations people so they could sustainably harvest planks without cutting the whole tree down. I thought that was really clever, and it showed how much they understood the forest and how to use it without killing it. As we left the Birdwoods, I kept thinking about everything we learned and wondering what these islands must have looked like hundreds of years ago. I was also pretty excited because, with a little luck, I finally caught some prawns in my new trap. Not very many, they're pretty small, but...
Ooh, they look good though.
They do look good.
And here we are approaching Lacey Falls. How about that?
Oh, wow. They're surprisingly easy to clean, and they taste amazing. Today was exciting because we caught some prawns in our prawn trap. Yay! It's doing its job. We had the whole place to ourselves, which made it feel like we discovered our own secret waterfall. The cliffs made the sound of the water even louder and was a really cool place to explore. Then we headed to Quatsy Bay. It was calm, peaceful, and we had a great night's sleep. The next day we cruised further down Tribune Channel to Bond Sound. Well, we just caught some prawns, and we caught a lot of them. No marinas around here, so we made water on the way. At the head of the sound is the Otter River. Well, we're in Bond Sound, and now we're on a river? The river was really cool, so we went up it a couple times. Cruising out of the river, back to Simra. Meanwhile, back on the boat, Mom was getting her workout in. We first anchored near the river mouth, then moved the next day to stern tie even closer so we'd have the best chance of spotting wildlife. During high tide, we took the dinghy a few miles up the river, hoping to see one of the cinnamon-colored grizzly bears that feast on the salmon when they run up the river. But it was about 2 months before the salmon run. Yeah, no bears. I'm not sure if that was disappointing or a relief. If you ask my mom, definitely a relief. But we did have something even more exciting happen. Several times we were surrounded by Pacific white-sided dolphins. They worked together like a team, chasing fish towards the rocky shoreline before circling back again.
They're under us.
Watching them all move together was incredible and was one of my favorite wildlife experiences on the trip so far. We are making tuna poke bowls, but we are putting prawns on it.
Okay, show it off.
Spot prawn pokeballs.
Spot prawn
Yeah,
Pokeballs.
baby.
Here, I'll lift it up. Woohoo!
Broughtons Sound ended up being one of our favorite places. It felt really remote and we mostly had it to ourselves, and there was wildlife everywhere. After leaving Broughtons Sound, we stopped at Echo Bay to pick up ice and top up our fuel before heading over to nearby Lara Bay. This was a spectacular little cove. While exploring in the dinghy, we found a beach that completely disappeared underwater at high tide. It's another example of a clam garden that was built years ago. Pretty cool.
How'd you do?
Well, I got like 30, but I had to throw 20 back.
Too
so-
small?
Yeah.
Lots of small ones here, huh?
Small ones.
Oh, these are some good ones, though.
We have 21 for dinner tonight.
Prawns
Nice.
were everywhere, so that night we made prawn and salmon poke bowl ramen. Delish. As we pulled my prawn trap yet again before leaving, we spotted our very first coastal black bear feeding along the shoreline at low tide. We've heard them called sea bears because they spend so much time eating things they find along the beach. That was so cool. We then wound our way through the maze of islands toward our final overnight stop in the Broughtons at Madrona Island. As we carefully steered around the bulkhead beds, trying not to damage them with our prop, I couldn't help thinking how much easier it must have been to travel through here in a shallow dugout canoe. Finally, we dropped anchor beside the quiet horseshoe-shaped beach at Madrona Island, where we shared the anchorage with a family of very chatty eagles. Not a bad way to finish our time in the Broughtons. And yes, it started raining again. Next week, we'll report back after sailing south through the Johnstone back into the Discovery Islands.
See you next time.